Evaluating exponents with a base of 10. So just a quick refresher on what exponents are. Exponents are that little number you'll see up here, and they tell you how many times you're multiplying the base times itself. That does not mean 5 times 4. That's a common mistake. It means that you're multiplying the base 5 times itself 4 times. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. Now there's a neat little trick that you can use when the base is 10. When the base is 10, the exponent will actually tell you how many zeros to add to 1. So we have 1 and 4 zeros. If you had 10 to the 17th power, the base is 10, that 17 would tell you to add 17 zeros to 1. So that's 100 quadrillion. Now make sure that this is really important. Make sure you add zeros to 1 and not to 10. This is a common mistake. I'll see kids do this all the time. They take 10, they see the 2, they add 2 zeros. That's not correct, because if you think about it, 10 squared means 10 times itself twice, and 10 times 10 is 100, not 1,000. Remember, when the base is 10, you take 1, and the exponent tells you how many zeros to add. So in this case, it would be 100. So let's take a look at some exponents where the base is 10, and we'll start from the bottom. So 10 to the 0 power. Well, we know anything to the 0 power is 1. 10 to the first power. We know anything to the first power is that number, 10. We just looked at 10 squared, which means 10 times 10, and that's 100. 10 to the third power is, now remember the trick. You have a 1. The exponent tells you how many zeros to add, 3. Well, in fact, if you look at the first example, you have a 1. How many zeros do you add? None. Here we have a 1. How many zeros do we add? 1. We start with 1. How many zeros do we add? 2. How many zeros do we add on this one? 3. We start with a 1. How many zeros do we add? 4. We start with a 1. How many zeros do we add? 5. And this will work every time when the base is 10. It's just a little trick that you can use. We'll do 3 more examples. So 10 to the 6th power, I mean, you could, if you wanted to, you could actually figure that out. You could do 10 times itself 6 times and come up with the answer, or start with 1. This tells you to add 6 zeros. Let me get my commas in there. So 10 to the 6th power is actually a million. 10 to the 12th power, start with a 1. How many zeros do we add? 12. And the next one, 10 to the 945th power, you would start with a 1. And how many zeros would you add? 945, and you can do that one at home. And so that's the trick for working with exponents when the base is 10.